Okay, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Power Platform Community High Five. I can't believe it's the October event. Me and Sarah started this back in January. We're now in double digits. It's our 10th event. So I'm amazed. Some top speakers as well tonight. Really looking forward to the sessions that we've got. So very briefly, I'll just mention the Microsoft Event Code of Conduct. It's just a bit of housekeeping. We've got to mention it. But if anyone's got any issues with anything, just come and see me or Sarah. But this has always been a nice, friendly group. So obviously, we don't really expect any of that kind of stuff.
Haley's in charge tonight if anyone's out of hand.
That's a good point. We've got a few bouncers on the call. I've seen Kaylee's bouncer duties at Scottish Summit, and I'm not messing. So yeah, tonight we've got some great sessions, all top speakers. So the first one, the customer-facing duet of the decade, custom Copilot with Power Pages, and that's Franco, Musso, and Sean Astrakhan. The next up, we've got a new speaker. You're a good friend of the Community High Five team. Run Copilot Run, how I built a Copilot running coach. That's Adam Bezance, and it's going to be great to have Adam speak for us for the first time as well. And some of us might reciprocate as well next month when we go to the Norfolk user group. So do follow them as well. It's a great group. And also F.I.E.R.C.E, building better solutions by starting with the right foundations, by a brilliant speaker, Simon Greenall. I saw his session at SPUG earlier this year, and it's absolutely amazing. So high expectations for Mr. Greenall there. Looking forward to that, Simon. So first up, Franco and Sean, the stage is yours. Please take it away.
Thank you very much, Keith. Let me share my screen and get this party started. So over here, I was going to play entrance music, but then I forgot I can share. I'm going to start sharing one more time so I can share with sound. And trust me, this will not be worth it. Once and perfect. You all can see my PowerPoint, yeah?
Yeah, looking good.
Sweet, terrific. All right. So here, what we got going on is this is a session that Franco and I have been doing for about a year now. We keep having to change it because so much keeps happening with Copilot Student Power Pages. But we're excited to see what it's actually going to turn into here, especially because we got even more new demos to show off for you. So real quick, to kind of ground everything that's going on here is I have this hotel site right here. And this is just a simple, basic model-driven app, nothing fancy at all. And then over here, I have the Power Page that it reflects. So what problem are we trying to solve? The problem we're trying to solve is that we want to get more customers getting our hotel, outdoor, adventure packages that are right here. But the thing is, we need to help our customers figure out which is the right one for them. And where it gets really tricky is just the general filtering sorting of all this. So for instance, if I come in here and I say something like, I don't know, I want to do food. Cool. I got food and wine tour. And then if I say the word like, I don't know, world, I'm like, oh, it doesn't appear. Oh, wait, I guess I have to do like this stuff. And then I have to remember all like the wild characters that happen in order to make it work. And then this is fine for a model-driven app because, well, we can kind of train our users to come in here and then use all these filters and it'll be okay. But then eventually, if we really want to help all of these people, the most best experience we can give them is to let them help themselves. This would really save us a ton of costs so we don't have to have staff always on support tickets or have staff sitting there on the phone trying to help book all these packages for our customers. Instead, our customers could come here, do it themselves, and then boom, just money and purchases and reservations are being made in the background. The problem here is if I go in here and I just start typing things like food and I try to search on it, this experience in Power Pages, it takes a little while. It's pretty accurate, but then if we switch it up and instead we say like drinking or something, we don't have any results. We now are forcing all of our customers to know the exact words we're using. In the age of AI, this isn't good enough. We need to be able to use like semantic reasoning or being able to find the meaning behind words so our customers can just come in here and be like, I want to go I want to drink this weekend with my friends, or which hotel is great for kids and swimming. I want to be able to do that kind of stuff and get some kind of results here. Like that's the ultimate goal. Luckily, we have a lot of very cool tools right here, such as Copilot Studio, but the problem is it doesn't behave like we expect. So for instance, if I go in here, I have this exact chatbot right here. I'm going to show you the behind the scenes. If I have this exact chatbot here, and I go in and say, which outdoor activity is good if we like wine? Let's do that. I'm also going to save that right here. And let's see how well it does. And then I wish I had all of, oh, there's only 2 people on camera. Oh, that's unfortunate. Only like 3 of us. I would love to see the rest of you, but that's okay. Currently, there are no outdoor activities just that mention wine in their name description. Well, that's not very accurate, and that's kind of annoying, but I'm happy that's actually happening because I want to show you the limitations of Dataverse, unfortunately. So in here, I have this Copilot Studio agent, and I wanted it to connect it to all my Dataverse data, and then I wanted to show it in my Power Page. That's my goal. To do that, I go over here, I made this Copilot Studio agent, and then I go to like add knowledge source, and then I pick Dataverse. That's all I really did here. But as you can tell, even though it's this simple of adding this Dataverse connector, we're already getting issues with it. So let me just try a different one. Which outdoor activity or hotel is good for skiing? Let's try that and see how well it does here. Remember, I'm trying to speak how our customers would speak.
Mhm.
And let's see what we got going on. Cool. This one, it actually got it right. I can take these results and now I can give it to my customer, or ideally, my customer is just typing that right here. They get the result. Boom, they're starting to buy stuff. Let's say my customer now says, which hotel is good if my kids like snow? See what goes on here. Remember, this is more or less the same question. I expect this very similar result. There are currently no hotels with description that mention snow activities. Are we seeing how annoying this is right here? I just asked about skiing. Boom, it's giving me the result. I just asked about snow, which is the same idea, and I'm getting nothing. What does this mean? This means customers are not buying things. They come here, they get frustrated, they think you don't have any products or any services, and then they leave and then they go to the competitor, unfortunately. I'm going to show you a very different Copilot Studio agent that we'll see how well it does. So here I have a completely different one. I'm using AI search. I'm no longer using the Dataverse connector. All I did was I came here, I clicked add knowledge source, and I did not go to Dataverse because we all saw how poorly that went. And instead I picked Azure AI search. I'm going to ask it the exact same questions. So let's first start with this. Which outdoor activity is good for skiing? Let's throw that in here. I want you to notice 2 things. I want you to notice how fast this runs or how slow it runs, and I want to see if you notice, does it get the results? Here we go. It's running. And boom. I don't know if you could tell, but that was already faster than Dataverse. It gave me my results. Like, cool, it got that right. Let's keep the party going. I'm going to hop down here. I'm going to say which hotel is good if my kids like snow. Let's pop that in here. Let's see how we do here. It's running. It's going. Just kind of, and family friendly, but got comfort for snow activities. The whole, I think I typed it in wrong. Let me see here. And then this one, it listed these. This one got a little off here, unfortunately. Let me try it here. This is why AI demos are awesome. Let me choose this one. Which hotel is good if we like, let's do wine. Let's see how well that does. And then I'm going to go back here. Cool. It got the food and gourmet tour here. I now want to prove the whole point I've been trying to prove, which is I want to switch the, instead of wine, let's do drinking. How well does it do here? And hopefully it won't embarrass me. We got a luxury beach resort. That's not bad. It offers bars and lounges. It's pretty good. So I can configure this so it instead picks the food and wine tour because it'd be more accurate. And I have a little bit more control here. But the point is this is giving me slightly more accurate results than Dataverse, which is really just not doing well. And then I have some other ones back here that are a little better in these categories. Let's see. Cool. Let's do a really advanced one. Like, let's see. Greenall, my friend. I don't know if you are married, but I'm going to pretend that sometimes you forgot your partner's birthday. All right. So we're going to ask it which would be a grand gesture of our love because you forgot their birthday. So I'm just trying to show you here the powers of AI search when you start to ask it even more ridiculous stuff, how well it does. Well, we'll see how well it does in a second here. Cool. So in this case, it is suggesting if we use AI search, here's a vacation idea. Buy this thing, or buy the gourmet and food and wine tour, or skiing in the Alps. Okay, very, very cool. So which hotel is good if we like alcohol? So you could keep asking it stuff and kind of seeing like what it's coming out with. It's like, oh, you want alcohol? I got the food and wine tour for you, buddy. Enjoy that. Maybe your partner will forget what you did. However, if you, my friend Greenall, went here and you used Dataverse and you said you forgot your partner's birthday, you'll notice here that you would have been divorced because it couldn't even find what you were doing. So I'm going to pause for a second because usually questions come up. Maybe there won't be any questions. Yeah, the general thing of what I'm trying to show you is, oh, I see some questions, is the fact that AI search solves that problem of semantic meaning. You don't need your staff remembering all the words that are in your system. They could just be generally in the ballpark and it'll figure it out. Or forget your staff, have the customers themselves type whatever they want, and it could be pretty darn accurate in terms of what it needs to do. Now, if you need it even to be even more accurate, then you can do certain configurations, and I'll show them in a second, depending on how much time is left. But real quick, I thought I saw a question. Did I miss one? Reese, use the AI search guide. Did you manipulate the index at all, or did you essentially plug and play? In this case, I did plug and play, but you can manipulate the index, which I'll show in a second. And then is the data index from PDF as from excellent, excellent. So in this case, all I did, Reese, is I took all my Dataverse data and I migrated it to Azure AI Search. I did not need to put it into PDFs, but I'm happy you asked about PDFs because I could totally use those. Cool. Any other questions before I continue? Seems like we're good. All right, onwards. So next, to really understand how powerful this is, I think it would help for people to know what is really happening in the background and why AI search is so awesome. So how AI search works, and before I really show it off, is I want to do a little contest with all of you right here. I have it connected to, let's go to the next one. Hold on. It's up here. Very cool. I want you to see its power. Here I have Copilot Studio talking to the SQL connector, and over here I have Copilot Studio talking to Azure AI Search, and I want to do a little game here. So here's the game. I want you to type in the chat, whether based on the prompt I'm asking, do you think the SQL connector will get it right or the Azure AI Search connector will get it right? Remember, we're not doing Dataverse anymore. Now we've switched. We haven't been happy with Dataverse. Let's switch to SQL. So your options are the SQL connector and then versus Azure AI Search. So in the chat, please type in the word SQL or AI Search. Here's your first question. Which hotel is for ski lovers? Do you think SQL is going to get it right, Azure AI Search, or both? And I'm very curious in the chat what people put. Duncan puts SQL. James thinks it's both. What else we got? I hope I see Gabrielle smiling. I would love to see what he thinks. Shamim thinks both. We got a lot of faith in this. All right, let's run this bad boy. So running it here. And then they both got it right. Very, very well done. Let's flip to another one. This one I said, which hotel offers skiing? If we hop into here, we'll notice right away which hotel offers skiing SQL crashed. It could not get it right. The reason is the word ski exists in the SQL data, but skiing does not. So if you do any kind of semantic meaning, and semantic, I'm tired of using that word. If you do anything that isn't the exact word, but a similar word, Azure AI Search, no problem. SQL connector, having a hard time. Let's ask a different one. This time I'm asking which hotel is called 47. All right. I want you to put in the chat right now, both SQL or AI Search. And I'm curious which one you think is going to win. Which hotel is called 47? What do people start putting? We got Carl's doing both. I appreciate that, Carl. Can you not employ a fuzzy search on the SQL connector? Francis, no, you cannot. Going to SQL again. I love Reese's confidence in SQL. Let's see how he does. Well, it turns out they both got it right. So I'm going to show you a slightly different one. I'm happy that Reese thought it was SQL. Here's one more. Which hotel is the number 47 in the name? So I'm not saying which is hotel 47. I'm asking a different version of it, which has hotel number 47 in the name. I'm curious how many people now are going to say A. Okay, so we got people picking AI, overly AI. No one has faith in SQL anymore? Come on, Reese. I know you got faith in SQL. Oh, no, you don't anymore. You've abandoned SQL as well. All right, that's unfortunate. Let's see how it does. And run them. And yeah, as you can see, AI search, no problem. SQL connector is great. So I hope I'm starting to sell you on the appeal of Azure AI search here. But what I'm going to do next is get out of the video mode and come on, do the thing. Sweet. Let's jump into why AI search, how AI search works. we can't really fully take advantage of its power or appreciate it if we don't understand what it's doing. So when you use Azure AI Search, if you ask it a question of like which hotels are near the sand, it has no idea what you mean, because Azure AI Search does not speak in English. It speaks in numbers and vectors, and I'll show you in a second. So to truly understand this, you need to take your data and you can convert it, and then your data will start working. For instance, if we go to the next slide, I need to stop putting these graphics in here. I mean, they look cool, but it messes up my whole presentation. All right, so this is how Azure AI Search works. The first thing you need is you need to deploy a model. Okay, so like here I have text embedding 3 small. Now, most people, if they've deployed a model before, their experience is more something like this. They go in here and they're like, all right, let's go to AI Foundry. And then let's go to Azure OpenAI. Let's see what hubs I have here. Cool. I think this one should have it. All right, let's go to the Foundry portal. So what you're going to notice here is when most people deploy a model, they're deploying a model like ChatGPT or something. Something like, where are they? There we are, models. Oh, I don't have any. Yeah, they have like Mistral, DALL-E for images. They have this kind of stuff. But there's a different model you can deploy, such as if I go here and I go text embedding, it's going to appear here. Cool, like text embedding 3. These are not models you chat with. You do not talk to them. They are not an interface. They're not what you're used to, because they serve a very different purpose. What they do is they take all of your text and they convert it to vectors. For instance, you would send a text like this, which hotels are near the sand, to your text embedding 3 model. Then the model is going to send it back, and it is going to be in vector format, which means that it is just all of these words and the meaning behind the words. It's going to put it in vector space, or really it just assigns numbers to these. That's a simple way to put it. Then part 2, you take all of your data, all of your Dataverse data, you send it to the text model, and it's going to send you back the number equivalent of that. And you're done. Now AI search is ready to start doing its job, because AI search does this. It takes your question, takes the numbers, takes the other numbers, and it just compares them. Like, the beauty of this is that it's so reliable because it's not actually technically AI, it's machine learning. It's just using geometry. It's just comparing numbers to other numbers, which is A, the reason why it runs so quickly, and B, why it is so often accurate, because it's just comparing numbers to each other, something that gives you a lot more control than consistently relying on large language models. Sweet. So another way to put it is it's just a really glorified keyword search. So next thing, yeah, exactly. It uses geometry. So there are certain limitations to it. All of these options here is like, if I have this table of like name, description, hotel price, Airbnb description, I have the options to decide what's going to be searchable, what's going to be filterable, and we're going to come back to this in a second. In fact, I don't think there's going to be time, but I will be posting more content on this, and you can follow us at many of the other sessions Franco and I are doing where we will talk about this more. But one thing I want to leave you with is just this little summary here is if you're using Azure AI Search, it's very good at meaning. It's plug and play, like somebody just said in the chat, and it gives you so much customization. Plus, it lives in Azure, so you have all RBAC security, and then all the compliance people will love it. The out-of-the-box detector, there's no configuration required. It does do relationships really well. Like if you say how many hotels are in this country and owned by this person, it does that very well. It supports a lot of and, or, not, all of that. It does this well. However, if we flip to the downsides of these two tools, we'll notice that Azure AI Search is not very good with relationships. So Dataverse, great with relationships. AI Search, not as good with relationships, and I can explain why. Also, Azure AI Search is an extra cost. You have to have Azure skills. It's a more powerful tool, which means it comes with a slightly steeper learning curve. The out-of-the-box Dataverse connector, it doesn't do any semantic meaning support, which I think is critical in the age of AI, and also very minimal API support versus Azure AI Search is more or less built for that. I believe I have, in my 25 minutes, Sarah, Keith, do I have like 2 minutes left, or am I out for the 25?
A few more minutes. Good to go.
A few more minutes. Cool. All right. So one final thing I kind of want to talk about is, and this will be a great introduction into what Franco's about to say. So what I can do here, and one of my favorite things about Azure AI Search is because it's in Azure, I have the aspect of reusability with it. So in here, I have Copilot Studio talking to Azure AI Search. I can also take a Power Automate flow and connect it to Azure AI Search. I can then, if I want, take Power Pages and I can connect that to Azure AI Search. So I'm going to show you this one. This search mechanism right here isn't using Copilot Studio at all. This is talking directly to Azure AI Search. So I can come in here and type in which outdoor activity is good for drinking. Let me put it here. I think that's the one that embarrassed me in my demo earlier. Where was it? Is that what I asked it here? Yeah, I said, no, not this one. Oh yeah, which hotel is good if my kids like snow? Let's copy this. This one tried to embarrass me in front of all of you. And it said, blah, 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 Hotel 5. It didn't say the ski one. Let me try to unembarrass myself. I'm going to place this here and we're going to run it. Skiing in the Alps is #1. I am not embarrassed. It runs. You know what? I'm going to run it again. And it's going to do its thing. I'm going to switch it to cold. I'm going to switch it to my partner loves to be in the cold. And you know what? I'm going to put my money that skiing in the Alps is going to be right here, really nice for me. So boom, skiing in the Alps. So what is my point? In here, I have Copilot Studio kind of getting in the way between what I'm typing and it's doing its best job and Azure AI Search. In this case, I'm like, skip Copilot Studio. I don't want to worry that artificial intelligence is going to kind of get in the way. I'm going to use Azure AI Search directly, and now I have more specific results. So in this case, what I'm trying to show you is when you talk directly to Azure AI Search, you get the benefits of machine learning. Plus now you just get the benefits of reusability. Like I'm talking to it here. I could talk to it in Power Automate wherever I want. Just for fun to show the power here, I would like you all in the chat to please type in your wildest vacation fantasy right now. Throw it in the chat. We're going to throw it in this bot. We're going to do it live. We're just going to kind of see what happens. I'm going to pick my favorite one. What do we got? Desert Safari. That was Madagascar. So far, Shamim is winning. Fine, we'll do Madagascar. Around the World Tour. That is so. What is that like? Sailing, Keith? What are we even talking about here? Volcano. Volcano and Madagascar. Similar tour. I don't know. Let's see what we got. Desert camping, right on. Adventure jungle safari. Okay, come on, y'all. That is pretty freaking close to Madagascar and Volcano, considering I'm doing this live in front of you. Yeah, so overall, I hope you're starting to see the power of Azure AI Search. If you want to learn more about this, be sure to follow me and Franco. One thing I'll end on is this Power Page is hideously disgusting to look at. I wish someone here could make it way better.
Seamless transition like that, Sean. Okay, so today I'm not going to show you the super slick Power Pages site that I built just for time really, but I'm going to show you how I got there, what skills are involved. So quick grounding really in Azure AI Search. Sean's mentioned a lot of this, but the key things being you can bring your own UI. So a real life example of mine I built for the Police National Legal Database and for the public facing site Ask the Police. And we got to all that filterable, searchable, sortable, facetable, building our back end for that, our database. And it's like, cool, yeah, we've got it. We've got an AI search that works on the front end in the portal. And we've got a completely separate requirement, build me a virtual agent, Power Virtual Agent. Well, what was ace about that is we're totally up against time, didn't have any decent requirements. And my junior came up with a cool idea. Let's just plug virtual agents into Azure Search via Power Automate. And then we've built once and used many times. So you could go via the UI or you could just go via the chatbot and on any device. And the client was super happy with that. So you can use it in any app and really at any scale. This is enterprise level stuff that we're talking about with Azure AI Search. So my site's using millions of searches per month. So on my projects, the clients are typically using Dataverse as a backend, like Sean's shown there. So how do we use Dataverse as a data source for Azure AI Search? I'm going to show you how to bridge that gap. So the reason being that there isn't just a connector to say, right, Azure AI Search, look at Dataverse, these are the tables, these are the columns and the relationships. So there's a bit of design work we had to do. So I'm going to take you through that, take the guesswork out of it. So typically for Dataverse, the data's got to be structured, and that's what we've been taught for so long, to be normalized, geek friendly, all that good stuff. Whereas for Azure AI Search and for AI in general, that's not the case, which is a bit mind-blowing. So I was given the task to get our data in a ready format. Some cool things you might not have seen already with Azure AI Search is it can also take other formats. So you could drop in PDFs, PowerPoints, images. You can have it run OCR for you, translate for you, recognize text from images, recognize objects from images. So if you imagine Sean's hotel example, all those hotel operators might not have Dataverse, they might not have structured data, but they're most likely going to have, well, we've got a PowerPoint presentation, we've got the PDF of our brochure, we've got images that we've pulled in from TripAdvisor or from wherever else. We're saying, well, we've removed that barrier. That's cool, you can do all that. So with the vectorizer wants unstructured data, my customers want their data structured in Dataverse, and it was about how do we meet it? How do we meet them halfway? So we had to get from Dataverse records into JSON. We stored those in Azure Blob. And we had to work out, well, there's an initial run. There's going to be day one where we go from having no hotel data in here whatsoever to either a new record gets added, an existing record gets edited, an existing record gets deleted. So created some Power Automate flows to run on those triggers. And we flattened the data model. So part of what we had to do with the prep, as I say, is to flatten that, to combine hotels with whether things like lookups to parent records, where there was lists of child records, whether things like option sets, where again, a bit of a slight difference where we'd usually be thinking, well, we've got to use the option set value, you've got to have that numeric thing behind the scenes. No, here we want the name, we want the label. So building that into the JSON. I needed it to understand location so that people can do location-based results. So for that, I created some geography points in JSON. And while this was a lot of guesswork, it all worked in the end. And it's, like Sean said before, it's repeatable then, and it's reusable from project to project. So these skills are really well worth mastering. And also, as Sean mentioned, this Azure AI search, it's been enhanced a lot specifically for use with Gen AI and chatbots. So it's well worth learning those skills or dusting them off if you've had them in the past. I'll not take you through all of these options, but you'll have them in the slides. But there is a bit of terminologies to get used to. Sean's favourite there being face table. So I'll task you with the homework of going and finding out what that means. But the idea is, when I've built this index, when I brought in the JSON, I've got a wizard that I can follow in Azure AI Search to say, at a high level, what do I want to be returned in the search results? So that's which of these are retrievable. Filterable is what can the user interactively, sorry, what can we filter with using the API queries. Sortable, which of these fields are sortable. Facetable are the like filters for the front end. So we can say, rather than a free text search or in combination with a free text search, maybe show me all of those that are business friendly, that are family friendly, that have conference facilities, that have a pool, that have a casino, whatever the case may be, rather than the user having to type in those exact terms. And then also which of all those fields are searchable. So retrievable being which are actually presented in the results, searchable being which are we, when we receive that free text search, do we want to be checking it? So that helps us be much more efficient with the search. So the MVP would be, you could just leverage the out-of-the-box UI. So this is me thinking about, well, how do I build this into other client projects? So they've not all got the same generous timelines and budgets. A lot of my portals still today are very much MVP, or at least for phase one. How can we deliver that functionality? So the tools that I've used for that MVP are jQuery autocomplete. That should be a familiar tool for people that are building custom Power Pages for any period of time, because it's part of the out-of-the-box toolkit. So when I'm starting to type a search, that's doing the type ahead and saying, well, here are some results you might mean. I'm using Bootstrap cards. So in terms of what do I want to present on screen when results are returned? So it's familiar to the users. And again, it's leveraging skills, leveraging out-of-the-box tools that come with Power Pages. I probably want to drill through to a hotel to see more detail, to maybe click off and make a booking, to see photographs. That I'm going to use a modal for, or I could equally use enough canvas elements. But again, I'm thinking what comes out of the box, that's Bootstrap and that's jQuery UI. For any icons, I'm using Font Awesome. Again, that comes bundled. I'm going to take you over very quickly, and I'm pushing it for time, but the skills that we need for this kind of reactive UI versus typically I will be teaching Liquid, which is all on the server side. But once a page is loaded, you miss your chance with Liquid. Whereas here we know there's going to be back and forth with the AI search. There's going to be iterations to user won't necessarily use the right prompt the first time. There's going to be some back and forth. The number of results are going to change. So we've got to take an approach to the layout that isn't rigid like Liquid is. So we'll have placeholders for the results, placeholders for the facets. There'll be some persistent content, like for example, the search box will always be there. The search button will always be there. And then there'll be elements of just in time or just in case content. So there will be 0 or more results. What do we show for 1? What do we show for 0? What do we show when there are many? What are the UI types for things like the facets and the filters? So when users are clicking, for example, show me business hotels, show me hotels with pools, show me hotels with bars at the pool. We want some elements for them to click on that. And then again, typically there would be some kind of detail expand. So you click a more button or an info icon or something like that. And again, leveraging out of the box components for those things. And then actions, what do we want the user to be able to do with the results? So, for example, the hotel search, you would assume that the business wants that customer to actually make a booking. They're not just researching hotels. They want to actually book in at these hotels, maybe check availability. All those things I'm building into my UI. So each card's going to have things like a title, a description, possibly a check availability button. But once you've gone into that modal, that's where the actions are. The call to action is to book now, to reserve, to check availability. Those things I'm building in. So autocomplete, these are the tools really to get familiar with before you're building a UI for these things in Power Pages. You have, of course, got that very basic out of the box chat box interaction, but this is how to make something much more consumer friendly. So the UI skills, just to wrap up, again, I know I'm pushing it for time. These are common skills really for Power Pages developers, especially those that are doing anything with custom code, or at least with Bootstrap, that you're able to call an API asynchronously, get some results. So typically with something like Ajax, that you can use JavaScript to check the number of results. So there's no point telling JavaScript to output your 0 results. So checking that we've got 1 or more results, perhaps to look at paging as well. So if there's more than maybe 50 results or something that we want to have some pagination there, that we empty existing content. So imagine the customer is perhaps doing a number of different prompts, a number of different searches before they find their ideal hotel. We need to be able to handle, well, get rid of all those previous results once we do the next search. To append results, so right, we've got some results in the JSON. How do we then output those, append them on the page as content? In my example, the cards, and building filters from facets. So that means basically sending a filter in the query from just a user's clicked a button. So translating that, the user's clicked on hotel with pool bar to this is the query syntax that Azure AI Search needs. So overall, with JavaScript, combining jQuery with JavaScript there, the skills I would say you need for this really, getting hands-on with the code would be master jQuery autocomplete. It's one of those that might look confusing the first time, but once you've learned that pattern, tons of ways you can reuse it on other projects. Calling a suggester on selects, what suggesters do is basically the mechanics of that autocomplete. So I'll say the user's typed this, go and use this particular suggester in Azure AI Search on whatever event. It could be on select, on click, could be on key up. And then behind the scenes, go and make an API call either on autocomplete as an event, or on user hitting the enter key as an event, or the user clicking a facet, and then go and pass that data from the card to the modal if the user clicks to view more details. So I'm out of time, but I will share the slides. And as a heads up, you've got the some real life examples. So where I did build the nice looking UI for this, here are the actual skills. So what is going on in the code? What's in the HTML? Where have I built the placeholders? Which bits are Bootstrap? And then what's the JavaScript that's running behind the scenes? Okay, have we got kind of a minute for questions?
Yeah, we've certainly got time. Yeah, thanks, Franco. Thanks, Sean. Any questions from anyone? Just use the raise their hand in Teams. Nothing so far. Looking good. Okay, I think we're in the clear.
Awesome from both. Thank you.
Yeah,
I've got a job, Keith. Before I forget, can we do the high five photo?
Yeah.
We've got everybody here.
Sounds good. So yeah, some of us need to leave the call a little early today. So anyone who wants to come on camera, we're going to do a quick high five photo. Hopefully we'll get time for one at the end as well. So if you want to come on camera, we will do that just momentarily before we pass to the next speaker.
James, I just noticed your hat and you made my day.
You, Sean, you were so generous to hand it out. I thought I could have as well.
That's awesome. Great. I'm just going to get the view ready in Teams. Here we go. Look at
What a
that.
brilliant photo.
It's looking so good. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, I think we're pretty much ready. If everyone wants to do the high five, we'll hold that for a few seconds. I'll go ahead and take a photo in just a moment. So 3, 2, 1. There we go. What a good looking bunch. What a great shot that is. There we go. Fantastic. Thanks all. There we go. Feel free to keep the camera on or drop it off if you want. But yeah, if there's no other questions for Franco and Sean, we'll get ready for the next speaker. Okay. Good to go, Sarah. Have I missed anything? Going to turn off that
No,
echo.
I can hear some echo. Yeah. No,
I
I
could
sort of
guess.
jumped in there without giving the full praise to Sean and Franco there. So thanks very much. I've seen that session in person, so it was great to recap and see it over again. So yeah, thank you very much. And yeah, I'll leave you to be in charge, Keith, of the next steps.
There we go. We've got witnesses. Sarah leaving me in charge for a bit. So there we go. Inmates are running the asylum. But yeah, thanks, Sarah. Fantastic. Franco, Sean, that was absolutely brilliant. Thanks again for offering to share the slides afterwards. There's just so much content as usual with those guys presenting. So thank you so much. So next up, we've got Adam Bezance. Adam is a new speaker, so please give him a lot of love. He's one of the awesome team who run the fantastic Norfolk Power Platform user group. Me and a friend of mine, Sarah Guest, are going to be speaking there next month on November the 6th. So if anyone can make it, we'd really love if you could come and support us in person. But yeah, it's great to see Duncan, Gemma, and so many other people supporting Adam tonight. Well, they're just here for the event, surely, but you know, they're there to support Adam as well. So Adam, a lot of love in the chat. It's all over to you, buddy. Please go ahead.
Hey Keith, thanks Keith, thanks Sarah. Thanks for the plug of the Norfolk Power Platform group as well. So hey everyone, my name's Adam and I'm going to walk you through just a fun little project I've been working on to help improve my running and also help improve my hands-on maker experience with Copilot Studio. So here's me, there's my face. I'm a consultant at Robiquity, a Pluralsight author. Got a couple of courses. You can search me on Pluralsight and find my courses. Also a co-founder of the Norfolk Power Platform user group. And I've been in Power Platform world for quite a few years now, and I've collected a few certifications along my journey as well. So today I'll be talking about how I use the Power Platform and in particular Copilot Studio, which is technology that we use in our work lives. But I applied it to something that I enjoy doing outside of work, which is running. I'm a keen runner. I've done lots of races, 5 marathons in total along the way, including the Garden Lockdown Marathon of 2020. Which involved 2,210 lengths of my garden. We did film that. It was a 5.5-hour video of me just running up and down the garden. If anyone wants to see that, I'll happily send that on. Now, I'll do my best to focus this on Copilot Studio and not talk about running too much, but I do just have one more slide and then we'll jump into a couple of demos. So let's start with the problem first and the why statement. So, well, firstly, if you're training for a race, a marathon, a 10K, half marathon, whatever distance it is, if you want to achieve your goal, then you need a running plan. Now, there are some good plans online, but they are still quite generic and not tailored towards you. They assume everyone have weekends free, and they don't cater towards your kind of personal circumstances. Now you can try using ChatGPT or Copilot, but unless you really know what you're asking for, then you won't get a great output. You have to know running and you have to know prompt engineering as well. And let's be fair, most beginners probably don't know either. So LLMs will happily create you a plan, but it might be unsuitable and be missing some real key points like the pacing. So my idea was simple: build an agent which asks key questions about your goals, your pace, your schedule. You can use it to create a personalized running plan tailored towards you, and maybe even store that plan and send you daily reminders as to what you are running that day. and also act as a AI coach that you can ask questions to. And I wanted to do all of this using low code. So I actually started this journey in Microsoft 365 land, which is where I'm going to start the first demo. And then I extended this agent in Copilot Studio, which is my second demo. So that's the end of me talking about running. I am going to just jump into my Copilot, my Microsoft 365 agent. And if I just click on edit, hopefully you can see the agent on screen now, not my slides. So just going to click on edit and we'll look under the hood of what's going on in this agent. So the bulk of this agent is actually in the instructions. I'll just expand that. There we go. And what I've done in the instructions is I've used the RTCF framework, which is role, task, context, format. Now, the RTCF framework is predominantly a prompt framework, but it does seem to work quite well in the agent instructions as well. So for the role in this example, I've told the agent that it's a professional running coach with expertise in designing running plans. For the task, create a personalized running plan, and I've told the agent what the plan should include. The context section, which is by far the largest section, is where I've added the additional context details. For example, that the user might be new to running, so keep the tone quite supportive. I've also added the interaction rules here as well, and what questions it needs to ask the user. And then lastly, the formats. I've told the agent what the plan should include and also how I want the output to be displayed. If I just scroll down on this agent, I think there's a little bit more. Yes, so there's some trusted knowledge sources here. So these are good running plans that the agent can learn from, and also a few suggested prompts just down the bottom there. So let's give this a spin. So my first demo, I've got prompts I made earlier. So create a running training plan for a 5K race. I want to achieve a time of 19:59. I have 12 weeks to train. So I've actually already answered 3 of those questions. So it shouldn't ask me the distance or the time or how long I want to train for. That's the theory. So it should ask me the rest of the questions, which let me just read. Yeah, it looks like it's done. So how many days per week would you like to train? I'll go for 5. What day would you prefer your long run on? Let's go Tuesday. What's your current level of running? Let's go advanced. Do you prefer distance or miles? I'm a miles man. And then any injuries or limitations? Nope. So click enter. So I've answered all those questions, and it's then ran through the instructions that I've given it, and it's created this running plan tailored to me. So my 12-week 5K training plan to help me break that 20-minute 5K, and it lays out in the table like I asked for. It's given me the pacing which I've asked for. It's included my long run on the Tuesday, which I asked for. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, it's then given me 2 rest days, which I asked for 5 days a week. We've got tempo runs, we've got easy runs, we've got interval runs. So this is a very good plan, and also includes the pacing down at the bottom there. So this looks good. It's got all of the good mix of easy, interval, tempo, long runs. And I guess at this point, I was thinking maybe you could just take a screenshot of it, or maybe I could copy and paste it into Excel, but I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to continue to use the technology. So this is where I thought I needed a bit more power. So I headed into Copilot Studio to extend this. So if I just jump into Copilot Studio. So this is a agent just built within Copilot Studio, and I wanted this agent to be able to store the running plan so that we could then use the agent as a coach to query the plan. So firstly, in this agent, if we scroll down, I've got less instructions in this because there's a lot going on outside of the instructions. But basically, you are a professional running coach, 2 main tasks. You create running plans using this topic here, which I'll go through in a second. This also is how it saves the running plans as well in that topic. And then task number 2, you answer queries on the plan using the knowledge source, which I've added down here, which is the running database, which is on Dataverse. So if I just go into the topic, and here we are. So it triggers the topic and then goes straight into my prompt. So this is the custom prompt, which I can just go into here actually. So quite long. I won't go through this all, don't worry. So this contains details on how to put a running plan together, and also asks for the variables at the top, like the goal distance, target time, days per week, etc. I've also asked for the output to be formatted in JSON, as you can see here. That just makes it easier to deal with once it's returned back to the topic. So if I just go back to the topic, so you'll notice that I've not actually got any question nodes. It's just trigger, then straight into the prompt. The reason for that is I've created topic variables. So this VAR, goal distance, VAR, days per week, these are all topic variables. I've given them descriptions so the agent knows what they are and how to ask the questions to get the answers to these variables. Once it's got all of the answers to the prompt, then sends the query to the prompt. That then reports back the JSON format for our plan. I then pass the JSON so I can use those in variables, which I use down here in the adaptive card. And if I click onto this, there's a bit going on in this adaptive card, a bit of coding. Copilot can certainly help you with this, by the way. And you can see down here I've used the variables day of the week, type, plan distance, pace per mile in the adaptive card. And if we scroll down a bit further, then get question node. So it asks if you're happy with the plan. If no, it just basically loops you back to the top and you start again. If yes, then it comes down the yes path and it runs a Power Automate flow. A Copilot flow, I think it's called. And the Copilot flow just basically takes that JSON and saves it down to my Dataverse table, 1 row per run, and then completes. So if we try and give this a spin, I will turn on the activity monitor and we'll ask it a question. So I'm going to go for this as my start prompt. So I've answered quite a few questions there. I've given it the distance, given it the training weeks. So as you can see, it's on the left-hand side there. This is my prompt, if you like. These are all the variables. I've only got 2 more to answer because it's taken all of the answers from my initial prompt. So what is your target time for the running? So I've got 10K. I'll go for sub 40 minutes. And then the next question, the only one is VAR long run day. So what day would you like to schedule your long run? I'll go Thursday. I'll click enter. So what it's doing, it now has all my topic variables that it needs for the custom prompt. So it's sent them, well, it's called the custom prompt, and it will be putting my personalized running plan together. So hopefully any second now, it's going to pass back the result in JSON format. It will then go to the next step, which is to pass the JSON, and then it will display that pass JSON in my adaptive card, which is what we can see. So if I just scroll up a little bit, here we go. Here's my potential running plan. So we've got, first it just lists it by day basically. So Monday is the easy run, Tuesday is your workout, Wednesday easy, Thursday long run, which is what I asked for, Friday workout, and then asked for Saturday easy, and then rest day on Sunday, and then it just repeats that all the way down for 4 weeks. So at this point, you would just say, if you're happy with the plan, you would click yes, and that would call the flow, and it would save it down to Dataverse table. If you click no, it would just go back to the start. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh that because I ran through this yesterday, and I created a plan which started yesterday. And the reason I did that is so I could show you the second part of this demo, which is querying the plan. So think of this as a totally different Copilot session that I'm in. I created the plan yesterday, so it's been 24 hours, and I might need a few fingers crossed on this bit, I'll be honest. So let's ask it a question. What session is on the runner plan for today? And if I go to the activity map, what it should do is query my knowledge source, which it's doing. It's querying the running database, and it should come back with a workout session of 8 times 800 meters. Yep, I thought I might need a bit of luck on this one. Let me just ask that one more time. So what session is on the runner plan for today? Queries the database, and it should pull back that today's session, 7th of October, is a workout session. And if not, I do have a screenshot of it working earlier, which you may have to resort to. So fingers crossed, everyone. Yeah, I'm just going to go to my screenshot. I think so. This is me asking, so what session is the runner plan for today? So today's session, this is what it should have done. Today's session on your planner is scheduled for distance 8K and is the 8 times 800 at 5K pace. And if I just jump onto a little model driven app that I've done. Show you that today's date, so the 7th of October is a workout, and it was the 8 by 800 at 5K pace. So that's what it's querying, just querying this database, this run entry v2, and it's putting that details back. And the other thing we could do is now it's in Dataverse. It kind of opens up the options to use the rest of the Power Platform. We're not just kind of constrained to the agent. So we could use Power BI, for example, create some visuals on the data, or we could use Power Automate, which is what I've done here, which sends a daily email about my workout every day 6 a.m. So I've just got a compose step here to compose the day's date in the correct format. I'll list the entries where the date matches the output from above. Get the forecast in Norwich, that's where I'm based. And then we check the conditions. So if the type equals rest, then I send a specific rest email about how to rest up and some tips on resting. And if it's if it's anything else, so any kind of workout or easy run, then send the details in an email. And I think I've got them down here. Here we go. So on the left here, this is the email I got this morning, actually. So morning champ, here's your workout, 8 by 800 meters, distance, time and pace. And also today's weather and an inspirational quote, which I did need this morning because it was a tough run. And then on the right hand side is what it would send if it was a rest and recovery day. So some tips and still some inspirational quotes on how to rest up. So could add, so yeah, the future steps of this, I could add a lot more questions in. I kept it fairly short just for the demo, but I've got about 20 questions in mind that I want to add in to make it even more tailored. I would love to connect this to the Dataverse MCP server to be able to query the Dataverse table, maybe also send updates as well. So if I've just completed a run, I could have a chat with my coach agent and then have it update the run table with completed and also the time it took me to do the run. So yeah, I think that's probably about my demo over. So if you want to see that version of the Dataverse MCP server in the future, and I guess we'll just have to ask Keith and Sarah to invite me back in the new year. I'll probably be putting this to use actually. I've just signed up for a marathon in April, so I'll probably do another 16-week training plan using this this Copilot. So yeah, maybe back in the new year with the MCP server version of this. And on that note, I'll hand back over to Keith and Sarah.
I don't know, Keith, what do you reckon?
I love how you try to sell yourself there, Adam, and cheekily sneak that in. That's something I would do. Good work. I love that.
That's exactly what you would do. That was so good. I can't believe that was your first speaking session.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
Well done, Adam. That was absolutely brilliant. Great job.
Spot
Go for a
on,
lie down
yeah.
now. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Definitely
certainly.
a full-time one next time.
Yeah,
We're
for
starting to
sure.
look at
Yeah,
2026, aren't we, Keith? We're just waiting to catch up properly about it. So
yeah. Lots of
you're
plans.
going on the
Yeah,
list.
I'll have to throw that in the mix for sure. Eh?
Yeah, well done.
Great stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thanks all.
Thanks again, Adam. That was brilliant, and so good when the AI demo gods play along as well. So that went really, really well. Well done.
That was, well, apart from the end, but yeah, apart from that, it was all good.
Hey, I'd take that as a win. That was pretty good. Yeah, that was a good hit rate. But yeah, no, thanks so much, Adam. Great session. Lots of love in the chat, and yeah, please keep that going in the chat, because it's Adam's first speaking presentation for a user group, which is still mind-blowing because of how good it was. So well done again. Next up, talking of new speakers, good friend of ours and a brilliant speaker who I've seen speak before and is relatively new. So I'm sorry to keep bigging you up, Simon, but you are a brilliant speaker. So everyone, please show a lot of love for Simon Greenall. Simon, it's over to you. Please take it away.
Thanks, Keith. Keith, just tell me, what time do I need to finish by, please? I can adapt this as need be.
Yeah, sure. We'll do aim for around 40 minutes. We're slightly overrunning, but we can be a little flexible. So if that works for you, that's good.
That's fine. I can bring it back if need be. It's not a big problem. Thank you for having me. As Keith sort of alluded to, this is actually only my second time speaking to a user group. Last time when I saw Keith, it was at Scottish User Group. I need to have a word with organisers, because both times I've been the last person. Last time I had to follow Sharon Smith. You've now just got me following two great speakers. This really isn't fair, guys. Come on.
Sorry about that.
Right, so let me stop waffling. Apparently I'm very good at waffling. I get told this on a daily basis. So I'm here to talk about a concept that I've come up with, that I train my makers in. But before we get into that, who am I? I'm Simon. I work at Durham University, where I actually started back in 2018 as a mature student. Graduated in 2023. But in the summer of 2019, I actually started working as student staff, and then obviously COVID hit. And as we came out of COVID, I was asked by the people, the team I'd been working with, would you like to come back and work for us? We've got an idea that involves Power Apps. Have you actually ever done anything with Power Apps? And I sat there and went, yeah. Hadn't even heard of Power Apps. Went running home and Googled it. And it's, oh, actually, this looks really, really cool. So I started way back in early 2021, starting to work on the platform, and has never left. And as a result of my first solution, was effectively recruited as full-time staff in the university. Outside of Power Apps, you may notice from the background, into a little bit of Lego, love Formula One, and there is the odd Funko around there as well. So I've mentioned the university a couple of times. Let me just give you a little bit of an idea of what university is like when it comes to understanding the complexity. At Durham, we've got over 6,000 staff. This is our academic, our professional, and our contractors. We've got 20,000 plus students, and this is split over 100 different departments. Over the last 2 years, I've been building a new approach for the university. And a lot of this approach and understanding actually came by as a result of a navigator with ANS. And I have a lot of thanks to actually give to Craig White for helping me in getting some understanding and guidance on going down the right path and not going completely off on the strange tangent. But as a result of that, earlier this year, I started rolling out the approach at the university, and to date, I have over 100 makers. Across 30 different departments, we reckon at the moment around about an additional 50 waiting to go through training. this includes our colleges, our faculties, and another 10 departments. So what you can see from that is we're actually starting to grab makers from across the whole university. And for this is really important for us. So building makers. I'll just pre-warn you, I don't like just doing one-way talks, so I will be after some interaction. First one, who here has actually been or is part of a makers community? Any hands? Yep. All right. Next one, what training resources are there or were there? Yep, Microsoft Learn. I see that a lot. Self-created like that. Absolutely love it. Problem there is when it comes to things like solution catalogs, Microsoft Learn, things like that, is there's no standardization. And what they do is they just take you into understanding the product without there being no foundational knowledge. The Power Platform is low code, no code. So when we're thinking about this, what steps do you actually take before you build a solution? You don't just go straight to make.powerapps.com and start building. There actually needs to be steps done beforehand. But in a lot of the training I've come across in the videos, and I taught myself completely through YouTube videos. It taught me beautifully about the platform, but nothing about the precursors that were actually needed. And when I went out and started talking to other people in industry, I started getting things like, oh yeah, you need a business analyst, you need to get your architects in place, you need to get this, you need to get that. Yeah, that's great for the really big stuff. But what about the local solutions? We're trying to train makers, we're trying to enable people here. We want great adoption. And the way we get great adoption is by actually building makers that can build good solutions that work. If solutions don't work, you're not going to get the adoption. So with my makers, in the training I've been doing recently, the morning is actually spent basically taking them through around what are you actually doing? And it's navigating the maze, because everything that needs to be done beforehand is an absolute maze, especially if you've never done it before. So I start teaching them around about trying to identify actually what is the purpose of what they're doing. Somebody comes to you and says, oh, I want an app. Had it many times. Absolutely hate that, because what they do is they come to me with the solution. How do you know an app is actually the right solution? You've just seen the word app, you want a nice shiny toy because you've heard another department has had it. It actually doesn't mean it's the right solution. So what is actually the purpose of what it is you're wanting me to do here? Then I'm trying to work out what type of opportunity. And in the university, we have training for continuous improvement. So I actually bring into training our local ways of working, our local terminology. And we get that throughout the whole of the training now. We're bringing it in more and more. We're starting to get that collaboration to actually build much stronger makers. So in the university, we have three types of opportunities. We have opportunities that are sort of local, team-led, completely within their control, very quick and easy to implement. You've then got ones that are still within your control, but they need more work. So these are solutions that could be done within a couple of weeks or a few months, depending on the complexity of it. And then we've got the F.I.E.R.C.E. And getting makers to understand what type of opportunity it is actually helps them start to understand What level of engagement is going to be needed around this? How many people am I potentially going to need to go and talk to make sure that I've got all the viewpoints? Then we start getting into the nitty-gritty. What are the requirements and understanding those requirements? Then I start teaching them around about actually critiquing the requirements that's been put in front of them. A lot of the processes, when I've been asked to make something, I look at them, and some of the ones I've looked at recently, I've looked at them and I've gone, when was the last time this process was actually reviewed? Because it looks like it's actually still in the Stone Age and is based on pen and paper. It hasn't even gone through a modern way of working, let alone an automation review. By critiquing the requirements, I'm starting to get my makers to actually understand how they can identify improvements. So in the university, we have a model that we use for helping this, which is called F.I.E.R.C.E, which is basically around about looking at a process and seeing what steps can be eliminated, what ones can be simplified, what ones can be combined, what ones lend themselves to automation, and what steps need relocating. Then I start helping my makers by getting them to understand limitations. And then finally, get them to start understanding the importance of setting expectations. And one of the big things that when it comes to expectations that I try and drill into them from the beginning is establishing MVP for the solution and making sure that that MVP does what it needs and no more. I've got a number of solutions out in the university. A couple of them were on V2. I've got a couple of big ones that are out there. They're V1 at the moment. We know what we want for V2, but until we've got V1 where we're solid, we're very, very happy that it's 1000% robust, I'm not moving on to V2. So when it comes to the requirements, I have a set of questions that I give my makers for them to start thinking about. Who are your process and data owners? If somebody can't answer that, they need to go away, because actually, if you don't have agreement from your process owners and your data owners, there's no point in even actually going any further. Your conversation is dead. Who are your stakeholders? Who do you need to go and engage with? Who's actually using these processes? Get understanding from them. What is the requirement stroke policy? What legal stuff is there in there? What timeframes do you actually have within a given policy that you're being asked to put a solution over the top of? And importantly, when we're looking at those things, does everybody understand them? Because I've had people come to me with policies and there's been a date in there, and then I've turned around to the different stakeholders and gone, right, when does this date actually start? And I've had 3 or 4 different answers. It's like, great, this is actually a requirement in a policy, and you're not in agreement on even when the start date is. Let's get that information. Let's get it standardized. The next question that I get them to ask before anything else is, what is the problem you are trying to solve here? And then, what is the desired outcome? I want to know the outcome before I know the next step. And the next step is, what is the process? Knowing the outcome means that when we look at the process, we can ensure that every single point of data that we need to get to that desired outcome is contained within that process. If we ask for the process and don't know the outcome, we're actually off, we're going to miss stuff. And the point I drive home with my makers here is, well-engineered solutions 100% of the time predict the outcome. Bad solutions don't. And from my experience, and I've done this, I've fallen down the hole, I went and I asked what the process was, completely asked what the outcome was, built a solution, started testing it, and we weren't getting consistent results. And it's because I'd forgot to look at the outcome myself. And finally, and especially when this comes to university, is it standardized? is the process actually standardized across everybody who uses it? In universities, and Durham isn't unique in this, it happens across a lot of universities, only a very, very small percentage of processes are actually standardized across all of the departments and everything like that. So I give them this information, I give them the training to start understanding how to critique, understand requirements. But I go beyond that with my makers. I get them to actually understand data security. At the university, the vast majority of our solutions have to be built on SharePoint. We're limited by financial constraints. SharePoint has got good data security if you know how to use it, but you've got to know how to use it. So I take them through that, then start taking them through data modeling, understanding that. Make sure that they're confident in SharePoint. And then finally, what I do with them is I take them through column types and the pitfalls. The amount of lists that I come across when somebody said, oh yeah, I've got all my data, it's nicely structured, and I go and start looking at the column types and I've got choice columns in there. Great, you've got a list that's over 2,000, I've got a choice column. Yep, let's single line text it. Nice, lightweight, consistent, robust data, easy to handle, manipulate without any aggro. And then actually start showing them how we can control that through Power Automate and through Power Apps. So why am I doing all of this with them? Because I want them to be fierce as makers. First thing I'm wanting them to do is actually check feasibility. Is actually Power Platform the correct platform to be doing this in? Does a solution actually already exist? Are you just about to try and reinvent the wheel? Is there actually something else that the university has that does exactly what you need it to be? And do you actually have the capability and capacity to build what you're thinking of? Inconsistencies. So if I haven't taught them about processes and actually understanding and being able to identify what is termed process waste, how are they actually going to know what differences there are in how areas run a process? How are they going to actually know whether the steps are standardized? How are they going to understand what data moving is happening? How is it happening? And how are they going to be able to turn around and actually know what are the different methods of interaction that are used with the current processes? If we're going to build a solution over a process, we need to understand how people currently interact with it to allow for that change side of it and to get the adoption up and running. The next thing, exceptions. I have yet to come across a process that doesn't have an exception somewhere. So at what point does an exception arise? And most importantly, don't solutionize every single possibility. In a lot of processes I've come across, people have turned around to me and go, oh, hang on a minute, we've got this exception over here. What are we going to do about that? Absolutely nothing. You've already told me it's only about 1% of the time. I'm not going to waste hours of my life counting for 1%. At this point, you know it comes out of the solution. It goes into the established manual process that you've got going. Maybe further down the line, we can look at it. But at the moment, it's a no. It's already set in that minimal viable product. Make sure that you've got human checks and balances in there. So when you start looking at a process, make sure that you're not actually removing out your human checks and balances. And I've seen people do that. They sort of start looking at it and they go, actually, humans, they're an exception. Let's just get rid of them. No, don't. Dangerous. I don't know if you guys read it, but back in June, there was a company that went and got a bit of AI software to start building a app, and they didn't quite understand the code in that. They went and run it. It was against live data. Lesson number one, never do anything against live data in testing. It went and deleted their whole database and created 400,000 rows of fictitious data. Never remove human element from it. Don't make humans an exception. And then finally, when it comes to exception, does the data ever go outside of the solution? If it does, where is it going? Is that an exception? Or is it something that needs to be pulled inside the solution? Redundancies. What process steps are waste? What are the ones that don't need to be there? What are the ones that need to be eliminated from it? What process steps are old ways of working? I was given one process and they turned around to me and they said, yep, we get to this point and we ask for approval. Great, what happens next? Oh yeah, we go and ask for approval from another person. Okay, what happens after that? Oh yeah, we go and ask for approval from the third person. Okay, separate steps. Yeah. Okay. Does approval 2 rely on approval 1 being required, and does approval 3 require approval? Oh no, we just ask. No, combine them into one step and ask for the 3 approvals at one hit. So what steps can be combined? And a lot of combination I've come across is because of old ways of working. And finally, what is unnecessary duplication? I've come across processes where team A goes and actually does the whole process and then hand it off to team B that go and do exactly the same thing. If we've built a robust solution where we can prove that 100% of the time it's actually giving the same outcome, why does there need to be that? We've actually done it. Let's reduce that. This is about efficiency. It's about streamlining. It's about getting rid of those tasks and giving people the time back to actually do the job that they're meant to, that they're paid for. C, complexity. What is involved? How many stakeholders? If you've got a lot of stakeholders, you ain't getting something done, especially within education or civil service or anything like that, anytime within the next 9 months. You're going to be stuck in 9 months worth of meetings. What is the data model? Do they actually understand it? How big is it? The first solution I ever built is still the most complex one I ever built. I've learned the hard way. I got 6 months in, the data model was completely wrong, had to scrap it because I hadn't done any of this. And that's because by the time I'd actually understood everything, I'd gone through actually looking at the feasibility, getting the inconsistencies, finding the efficiencies, that when it came down to the complexity and I'd got this all together, I had a data model that was 27 lists big. That was ridiculously complex, especially as a first-time builder. But as I was doing it, I learned a lot from it as well. So actually understanding your data model early on does give you a very good idea around how complex the solution is going to be that you need to build. And what is the logic? Finally, what is the efficiencies? What streamlining is possible? What steps can be automated? We don't want to automate everything, but there are steps we definitely do want to automate. Repetitive tasks, get them automated. How is the data handled? I've seen people literally take data out of Excel, and don't get me started on Excel. I have a very, very love-hate relationship with Excel. Excel loves me. I absolutely hate it with a vengeance. But they go and copy data out of Excel and then go and paste it into a list. Why the heck are you doing that? Get it straight into the list to start off with. Stop having manual data handling. Where is it stored? I've seen data that's been stored on somebody's personal OneDrive that's running a solution. Nah, that person leaves, you just lost the whole of the data. I've seen people try and put it into an Access database. Nope, that ain't happening either. I've seen people try and put it on local storage. You got any idea around the complexities that you need to do to get this to interact? No, let's stop all of that. So what I'm trying to do with my makers is give them a knowledge base and then give them an acronym, F.I.E.R.C.E, to actually, if they can take that away, I've given them the knowledge, I've given them the acronym so that they can remember it and some of the pointers within there. They take that away, that actually starts giving them the correct foundations to start building. And I do this because when we build, and this is exactly what I teach my makers, these are the steps I think we should be doing. Defining the process. If we define the process, we critique it, the process actually gives us our data model. Once we've got our data model, we can go build our solution, we can put in our environmental variables, then we can actually start building. Told you I'd get you within your half hour, Keith.
Nailed it. Yeah, to the minute as well. See, told you Simon was a top speaker. This can't be your second session, surely.
I've done the Scottish user group and I've done this.
That's ludicrous. I need to up my game. Well done, Simon. That was absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
And Simon's got there. Any questions? Just go ahead and raise the hand in Teams if you've got any. No questions as yet, but lots of love in the chat there, Simon. Really, really good.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm in a really noisy kitchen right now, so I'm going to stay on mute for most of this. But thank you, Simon. That was brilliant. Really impressed. Thank you. And yeah, again, like for a new speaker, really impressed. I mean, I would have been if you weren't a new speaker, to be honest. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much. I can see the blurriness behind you. Hey, there he is.
Hang on, can I? I don't know how I take my blur off.
Under camera.
I've got.
Hey, Libby. Hey, Sean.
Just missing Franco. He's in the corner.
Just to clarify, not all speakers and hosts have to live with each other. Some of us do.
It's a bit of a madhouse at the moment.
It's like a commune. Yeah.
Very, very geeky.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks again, Simon. No questions there. It looks like you're in the clear, but that was a great session. And just like the one that I saw you present at in Scotland as well, learned so much, lots of food for thought. So great. Sarah, any more? Otherwise, we can just finish up.
Libby keeps putting a blender on behind me, so I'm just going to go. I started off well. I got here on time, and then, yeah, family life.
Yeah, what can you do, eh? It's
but
all
no,
good.
Thank you. No, thanks, everybody. Yeah, we've got a November event coming up, and we've got December as well, which we're joining forces with Copilot Verse for a bit of a party. So that'll be announced soon as well.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So Copilot Verse, another great user group that started. Yeah, the 4 organisers there, we're going to do kind of lightning sessions with them all. That's the plan. Going to get a new speaker in place, and maybe me and Sarah might get something ready for it. We'll see what happens. But yeah, really looking forward to December. That'll be a big party one. But yeah, on the screen there, Tuesday, the 11th of November, please do follow the LinkedIn page just for updates on that. Again, we'll announce on there when we've got the upload from tonight up on YouTube as well. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, spending your time with us. I would say evening, but we're not all based in the UK or Europe. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Really, really appreciate you spending time with us. And yeah, we'll catch you all next time. Have a good rest of your day.
Take care. Thanks all.